Mano a mano, person to person.
It's just conversation.
One-on-one with Fusion.
Madtown's #1 for hits and hip-hop, 93.1 Jamz. Local love every Sunday night at 10 p.m. We show love to Music Made in Madtown, Music Made in Wisconsin. It's all about the local love, and I'm excited to sit down with the homie Josh Rip. What's good, man?
Hey, man. God is good. Life is good. Man, hey, I'm just blessed right now.
Bro, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you, man. You've showed love for a long time. You're good at, showing love to especially local cats and stuff, too. And, I know you break a lot of records and stuff, too, man. So you've been doing your thing for a minute. I know we've been kind of in the local scene for a minute here, so.
Dude, I can't think of anybody else that's really been around as long as me in this scene. When I moved to Madison in 2004, you were one of the first names I saw. You know what I'm saying? So it took a few years for us to connect and click and whatnot. But I've seen your name here since the day I came to this city. So I know the impression that you've left here.
Man, I mean, this is just my purpose, I believe, and I'm on a mission, and until that mission is done, like I'm gonna be making music. So yeah, I've been here for a minute.
I really respect and love like how driven you are with the whole process, because you're not just a singer and a songwriter. You also DJ, you do graphics, you do the video stuff. Like you're really kind of like the embodiment of like what it takes to make it in the music industry in 2023.
Well, the crazy thing is, I started all that stuff in the late 90s and in the early 2000s, specifically because I was that driven. Yeah. And you're talking about a kid in a household with a single mom raising 4 boys. Like, I didn't have money to get studio time. I didn't even have nobody to lean on. I had no mentors. I had nobody to point me in the direction. I just knew I wanted to make music. I love music. I figured out how to record music in my bedroom on a computer in the 90s. And so I launched my independent record label while I was still in high school, Rip Records, in March of 2020. We're going 23 years strong now. Wow. So, and so I really had no mentors and nobody to lean on, and we didn't have the money. So I had to. You had to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't hire someone to do graphics. I couldn't hire someone to do videos. I couldn't hire someone to do mixing and mastering. So I had to learn all those trades. I didn't want to. But I mean, and then I eventually had to start learning After Effects and and all the advanced video stuff, and it just kind of came to be what it is, and I love it now. But you're right, in this day and age, like, you almost have to know, artists have to be multifaceted. They can't just, what I'm saying, because the things are so quick nowadays. Like, you got to have new content out constantly, and it's just like you got to be on top of it. And everybody's becoming content creators now, man. You just have to be able to have a lot more talents than just singing and songwriting, man.
Yeah, and if you're not a hands-on type of person, like, this creative world really isn't the place to be.
You'll get left in the dust real quick in 2023, man.
So let me ask you.
I can barely keep up with all I do, man.
Yeah,
for real.
You do a ton, man. So we ask you kind of, hopefully not a complicated question, but something that I think would be interesting for people to know. You've kind of switched from more conventional music to, I guess, more faith-based, religion-based music. Like, what was that transformation like for you? Like, what kind of led that direction?
Yeah, that was just me. I mean, I always kind of grew up like with faith in my family and stuff, but I like strayed from it for a long time, and I kind of ran off, and I just did a lot of things that I thought was pleasing me, but it ended up like ruining me and stuff. And I got heavy into like just a lot of things that were just ended up ruining me.
So negativity took hold where you thought you were
doing positive. so many things took hold, and it ruined me. And I ended up about 2016. I ended up coming back to my faith, and and God is where I get my hope from. He's where I get He's my source of everything. So I mean, I've done life without God, and I've done life with God, and I just know like where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying?
You,
like this is where it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And it didn't change your music, and it didn't change your grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I listen to like what you're putting out now versus what you were doing then, like, obviously, like, there's no like cuss words and stuff in a lot of it, but it's like it's still Rip.
It is. And I actually just put a Facebook post out the other day too, man. I've kind of been doing Rip for like almost a quarter century, and I'm kind of getting like tired and burned out, because I feel like I've done so many things over the years. Like, I done did it all. So we'll see, where I go after this album. But yeah, no, I mean, I've always had the same musical influences that I've had, and none of my solo albums I ever put out, like before my solo albums, man, I did have a lot of grimy stuff in there, but like I didn't have like the swearing in it, but now, my stuff is more based on my faith and you know, my love for God and stuff. But there is a lot of still, you know, music influences and experience that I've had in the DJ world and all that stuff that has transpired it, you know, into like the production on my album. You know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of it is, man, it's still just all those years of acquiring the skills and the knowledge and the musical tastes. You know, it's still prevalent today.
Well, I like the continued evolution. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you were still doing what you were doing in 2004, you know,
man,
like, you know, like there's no progression there. You know what I mean? Like you can't just stay in that same
right. That's
lane.
true.
Like you can't do the same thing. Like, you know, it's cool if you make trap music, but if all you do is make trap, like that's your lane. That's all you're gonna do. So you have to diversify and open the doors and like get more experiences, more opportunities.
I definitely growed and matured as a person, and I think just where I'm at now is where I was supposed to be my whole life. I just didn't know it, you know, and I was seeking for that, you know. But
that's cool. Yeah. And it's interesting, but it's you know, it's cool to see that evolution.
Yeah.
Man. So let's talk about Delivered, man. This is a new project that you're putting out now for 2023. We've heard one single off of it that we started to kind of tease on the radio a little bit. But what's the core of Delivered?
Yeah. No, I appreciate that too. You guys all show love, and that's cool that you guys have been showing my single Grow some love. Delivered is my fourth solo album. It's my second faith-based album, but my fourth solo album. And before 2010, before I released my first solo album, I had a slew of like mixtapes and compilation albums with the album or with the label and all that stuff. It's me dealing with, you know, a lot of past traumas and addictions and childhood hurts and all those things that, you know, that I found healing in with my faith. And it's just me just kind of sharing that with the world, you know what I'm saying? And it's me just kind of, you know, the name of the album is called Delivered. It has multiple meanings. I had an album release party on May 12th that I kind of go into the details. That's why I named it Delivered, but it's got a couple of different meanings. One of them being that I delivered on my promise to God that I would do the same thing that I did, you know, before I came to Him, that I would do for Him. But it's basically about being delivered from, you know, from all my wretched ways.
From your past.
Yeah,
sins,
man.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I used to run amok, man. I was just having lunch with my buddy from Linnell, from our new worship pastor at church today. We was having lunch before this, and I was talking to him like, man, I used to be running around out here like, you know, just doing crazy things. People don't know because you don't really like broadcast it. They see Rip on like Facebook and stuff, but they don't really know what I'm doing. Right. You know what I'm saying, in my personal life and what I'm doing out there when I'm DJing at night and stuff. I heard a lot of people, you know what I mean? I heard myself, and I'm not proud of it, but I'm glad to be where I'm at from right now. So that's just me sharing that on the album. That's sharing my past. Like I still talk about a lot of dark places I was in my past when I was a kid, and you know, breakups and all that stuff. And I'm just sharing that with the world. So hopefully people, you know, can kind of resonate, and you know.
I think that it's really relatable. That's why you have the fan base that you have. It resonates with people because it relates to them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Real experiences will create real music. You know,
I just feel like a lot of people that are relatable. Like people feel that in the music. They feel it in the lyrics. They feel it in the music, and that's what grabs them. You know, they say that, you know, that, you know, you don't sell your product, man. You sell your story. Right. You know what I'm saying? So.
And that's really true though. I mean, even within the music industry, like when people are pitching new records, it's, you know, it's what's the story to this? Like, how did it take off? How did it get here? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like every artist, every record has its own story and chapters inside of it. So I really think for you that taking that change to your faith-based music, like really opened more doors for you. It put you on the road into places that you weren't going.
It did, you know, and a lot of people, sometimes people think, oh, when you switch genres or you go and you do this, a lot of times people want to think like, oh, you did it just for the money and the fame. And like, I actually, when I came back to make faith-based music, I knew I was going to lose a lot of fans. Right. And so I wasn't doing it for that. I was like, I'm doing it because this is where I'm at right now, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Like, I'm doing it. I'm not doing it for me anymore. I'm doing it for God.
Grow with you.
Yeah, you know. So, but the funny thing was, like, you're right. Actually, when I started making faith-based music, ironically, my career like saw a spike more than, like you said, like we're touring. Man, we're doing some of the biggest shows. Like for the first time ever, my song was on a ballot considered for Grammy Awards. So we went to the Grammys. You know what I mean? So, it like blew doors open and it blew my mind. But like I wasn't doing it for that. You know, it's almost like when you stop trying.
That's
that's when things, you know what I mean, like start to happen. But yeah, it's cool. Like we got another tour coming up this summer in June, and we got a tour bus, man. Like
that's what I
it's crazy,
man. It's like you went from a little like what was it, with a toaster type vehicle you and Aaron used to have. You know what I mean?
Bro, it's out there in the parking lot right now. What you talking about?
Yeah. Well, but you know, like, and you still got Rip Records on it.
Yeah,
and that's dope. But it's like you went from the little car to bigger van, and I got a bus. You know, wrapped with the tour. Like you are doing it on the level that the people that you aspire, you know, that inspired you are doing it at. You
know, when everybody starts making music, I can guarantee you almost every musician has dreams of playing the big stadiums and arenas and the tours and all that stuff. I mean, we haven't played huge stadiums, but we're playing the world's largest Broadfest this weekend in front of thousands of people. I mean, that's pretty big. And it's just crazy because I am living a lot of my childhood dreams yet still like 25 years later.
Right.
Like when people get into music, they think it's going to happen overnight or within the first couple years. Like the fact that it took like 20 some years and I'm still
in the
like
grind,
still like having like peaks in my career that are the highest that they've ever been is mind-blowing to me. Because I thought I was going to get in the music industry when I was a teenager. I thought I was going to get in and out by 25 years old. I thought by 30 I'm going to be like retired with all these awards and plaques and millions. I mean, so again, it's not about that. I don't have millions. I don't need millions. Like I feel fulfilled with what I'm doing right now. Right. I have purpose in my life right now. You know, so I'm blessed, truly blessed, man.
I dig it, man. I dig it. And I appreciate you coming through and sharing this with us. So tell me about the single Grow.
Yeah. Man, the single Grow is it's kind of like a radio record, and I was having this conversation with someone else the other day. Someone actually critiqued that song, and you know, they were saying that, you know, it sounds kind of dated or it doesn't have that contemporary trap sound and all that stuff to it. And I'm like, I've never been contemporary. I've always been in my own lane in a sense. Mm-hmm. Like I think you can ask anybody in the local Madison hip hop arena. Like I just have a different sound. It's always been influenced by like pop. You know, I love guitars. You know, Memory, man, he throws down some wicked guitars. You know what I'm saying? Like I love guitars. I love real instrumental elements, and I've never really been about like what's super in. I've either kind of been a little bit ahead of the curve or either just in some other lane that, you know, maybe was a little bit more prevalent in the past, but I've never like conformed to what exactly is. So Grow, anyways, back to Grow, man, my bad. Yeah, it features Angie Rose. She's from New York. She's a multi-genre like crossover artist as well too, but she's also, you know, a faith-based musician. Okay. But she's crossover. She's got a big following, and he had a brother, Pastor Jason Robbins, actually hooked that up because she did an event with him down there, and he met her, and then he kind of connected us. So that's how that collaboration popped off. But it's like it's a radio single, you know what I mean? It's a feel good. It's got a nice, you know, summer vibe. It's kind of like a breakup song, but not like you hurt me. It's kind of like, you know, I wish you well kind of thing. It's like, you know, in love, letting somebody go, and it's you know, I'm just gonna let you go so you can grow and I can grow, and you know what we had was great, but you know, I wish you well.
That's dope.
So yeah,
and that's the angle that most people really aren't mature enough to usually take.
Well, I mean, that's you know, again, it goes back to that conversation we were having about, you know, maturing in life and getting to a point. Like back in the day, if I broke up with someone, I would make a record like I used to make diss tracks to my ex-girlfriends. You know what I mean? Like, man, forget these other local rappers, man. I used to diss my girls. Like, what do you think? Like, you know, who do you think you are? And that's just not me anymore. You know, I grew, and the funny thing is with this single Grow, man, like this breakup happened like 7 years ago.
Really?
And So I recorded the song 3 years ago, right when COVID first hit. So the song's already 3 years old, but it's just coming out now. But I took a couple years to heal after that relationship because I specifically didn't want to write something hurtful or spiteful. You know what I mean? So I took time to heal, and that was all in the time right when I was coming back to my faith, and I was just growing, maturing, you know, spiritually and all that. And I just wanted to make sure. So I actually put out Trinity, my first faith-based album in 2017. I didn't even write about that breakup, which is what originally brought me back to my faith. It hurt me that bad because I didn't want any ounce of like spite or hate in there. You know what I mean? So you know, took a couple years off, and then so this is actually the first like breakup song. This is actually the first song from that breakup coming out like 7 years later.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That's awesome, man. It's a great single. Like I listening to it, I had no idea it was 3 years old.
Yeah. You know? Well, I mean, I didn't put it out. Like I recorded it in the very beginning of COVID, and I've been sitting on it for all these years. And then actually Nikki came along. Nikki came along in 2020, probably a couple months after I first wrote and recorded that song, and then I focused on him. For those that don't know, Nicky Gracious on my label, I focused on him for 2 years. We recorded his album, so my album took a back seat for like 2 years. So that's mainly why. And then when we finished our last tour this fall, we kind of buckled down, and that's when I finally got to finish the last like 3 songs on my album. And so that's kind of why it sat on the burner for 3 years.
It also gave you that time to like really like reflect and like make sure that you were hitting that goal. You know what I mean? Like nothing spiteful, nothing hurtful.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's dope, man.
And the funny thing is too, I actually filmed the music video for it 2 years ago. So like I filmed, Krista's in it. You'll see Krista in there, the old Jamz host. Krista and my homegirl Tracy and a few other friends. I filmed it 2 years ago thinking I was gonna put it out last summer, but I'm actually releasing the music video to Grow this Wednesday. So it'll be out this week. Yeah.
All right, man. So Delivered, how many songs altogether?
13 songs.
13 songs?
13 songs on the album.
That's awesome, man. Where's the best place for the fans and the listeners and people to tap in and pick it up?
They can go on my website, rip-records.com, or whoisrip.com will go to the same website. But I mean, it's on all digital platforms. I mean, you name it, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music, whatever, Amazon, you'll find it on there. It's Delivered by Rip. I also got hard copies. The cool thing is this, man, I got them on CD, and I also got them on a little USB, but the USB is in the form of a cassette. Man, I was going to bring you a copy too, but I realized I actually was like filming this week, and I took all my equipment out, and so I took them out. So I usually keep some like in my car at all times because you never know who you're going to run into. But I just took them out the other day, and I forgot to put them back in.
Well, here's what you can do: you can throw them back in the car, and then you can bring Nicky in. So that we can.
Hey, he'll be in later this week, yeah.
And then you can give me one then.
Let's do that. Yeah.
I really want to learn more about Nicky, man. Like this kid's incredible.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how y'all linked up, but save it for when you bring Nicky in, and you know, like he's talented, man.
We can do that.
Super
He'll be here this weekend with some of the boys, and he would love to come through and chat it up with
y'all. Let's make that happen,
and
you know, maybe at the end of the summer, why don't you come back in and tell us how Delivered's been going?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate it.
All right, well, let the listeners know how they can find you outside your website.
Yeah.
What's your socials?
Pretty much on all my socials at whoisrip. I mean, you know, TikTok, Instagram, all of the socials, Twitter at whoisrip. I'm Rip Records on YouTube, youtube.com/Rip Records. And my actual fan page on Facebook is Rip Music. But if they go to Who Is Rip on Facebook, they'll find my personal page. So, I mean, yeah, you'll find it.
The one thing I can say, man, is like, you know, it might be faith-based music, but it doesn't feel like it to somebody who's not in that lane. You know what I mean? It's like a person like I hear it's like street hip-hop all day and whatnot. Like, it's a nice flow. Like, I don't feel like, you know, like, I don't feel like it's like being like religion being pushed on you, right?
Sure.
But it's like positive. It's positive. It's feel-good music. So like, you know, take a chance. Put this in your tape deck. Put this in your CD player and check out Delivered. I don't think you'll regret it.
I appreciate that. That is awesome. Yes, definitely check out Delivered. It dropped this last Friday, May 19th, and we got the world's largest Bratfest coming up this weekend right here in Madison, Wisconsin. So if you guys want to check us out, I'll be on the grand stage at 12:45, and then right after that, we shoot over to the Life 102.5 main stage for Nicky Gracious and his crew and stuff. So we'll be tearing it down this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, kicking it off, and then that's the official kickoff to our tour. We got a summer tour, so that's our my home-based show is our kickoff.
How many cities you guys hitting?
We're only hitting 8. Last time we hit like 11 or 12, but we're hitting
That's
8.
Still a healthy tour, man.
We're hitting from all down to Southeast, down to Texas, and then we'll be back to Indiana in June 24th. So they can check that out at rip-records.com/tour if they want to check us out on tour. But come out to Bratfest, Madison. You guys got to come out and show support. You guys, they always do, man. That's what I love about my fans. They always come out to Bratfest and rock out and show me a lot of love. And I think that's why they keep bringing me back too, is because they like to see.
You've been doing that for what, 10, 12 years?
No,
now?
I mean, I did my first Bratfest gig, you know, under a tent, like on some of the smaller stages.
Yeah, same.
I did do it like 10 years ago, but I haven't done it since 2017. And then 2017, they brought me to the main stage, and then I did it for a couple years, and then COVID hit, and then so we were off for 2 years, and then they brought me back when they came back the first year after COVID. So, yeah, I mean, you know, my first one was 10 years ago, but I really didn't start hitting the stages consistently till 2017.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, well, either way, man, it's an honor to have you representing our city at Bratfest. I can't wait to check out the full project delivered, and I appreciate you coming in, man. Y'all check out Delivered. It's available on all platforms right now. Check Josh out this weekend at Bratfest. And tune in with something a little bit different. Some feel-good vibes are what we need this summer.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Hey, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Fusion in the afternoon on Jamz.
Local love with DJ Fusion on Mad Towns 93.1 Jamz.